Sometimes the device you want to monitor is not plugged into the same switch as your monitoring tool. That's where Remote Switched Port Analyzer (R-SPAN) comes in. Using R-SPAN on a network is like having a security camera system at your business. The camera might be in one room, but the screen you are watching it is in another room entirely. R-SPAN lets your switch safely send a copy of network traffic to another switch so you can inspect it. A common example is a laptop running Wireshark on a different switch. In this episode of Cisco Tech Talk, I'll show you how to configure R-SPAN via the command line interface, CLI, on a Catalyst 1300 switch next. With R-SPAN, traffic from a source port or VLAN on one switch is mirrored and sent across the network to another switch. This is done using a dedicated R-SPAN VLAN. This VLAN is used only for mirrored traffic and nothing else. R-SPAN typically involves three types of switches. The first is a source switch. This is where the traffic originates. Then, there may be intermediate switches to pass the mirrored traffic along. The last is a destination switch. This is where the analyzer is connected. It's important to note that the R-SPAN VLAN must exist on all participating switches. In addition, MAC address learning is disabled on this VLAN by design. This prevents it from not interfering with normal network traffic. I'll show you an example. Here's an overview showing the topology. Switch 1 is the source switch. It has an IP phone connected to one port and a PC connected to another. Switch 2 is the destination switch. It has a connected laptop running Wireshark. In this simple setup, there are no intermediate switches. Start by configuring R-SPAN on the source switch. Create an R-SPAN VLAN. I have created VLAN 7 and named it R-SPAN. Enter configuration mode and configure the VLAN interface. I'll mark VLAN 7 as a remote SPAN VLAN. This tells the switch that VLAN 7 is reserved only for mirrored traffic. Now you can configure the trunk interface that connects switch 1 to switch 2. On this interface, I'll exclude VLAN 7 from the trunk. This step is required for R-SPAN to work correctly on Catalyst 1300 switches. I can verify that VLAN 7 was removed by running the command show interfaces switch port and then specify the port number. In my case, that's 8. You should also confirm that the R-SPAN VLAN is not being used anywhere else by entering the command show VLAN. That all looks good. The next step is to define what traffic you want to capture by configuring the R-SPAN source and destination on switch 1. From global configuration mode, create a monitor session. In this example, I'll use session 1. Configure the source for the capture. Here, I am mirroring VLAN 2. This could also be a specific interface if needed. Move on to configure the destination. I'll specify that the destination is remote VLAN 7, which is the R-SPAN VLAN. I'll also specify the trunk interface that connects to the neighboring switch. In this case, that interface is Gigabit Ethernet 8. The last step here is to add the network keyword. This allows normal network traffic to continue flowing through the trunk. Everything should now be set for the source switch. So move on to the destination switch. To configure R-SPAN on the destination switch, repeat the same VLAN configuration. I'll create VLAN 7 and mark it as a remote SPAN VLAN, just like on the source switch. I'll then exclude VLAN 7 from the trunk connecting back to switch 1. Configure the monitor session. This time, the source is remote VLAN 7. For the destination, specify the interface where the laptop running Wireshark is connected. In my case, that is port 1 on switch 2. At the end of the command, add the network keyword. Without this keyword, the port would only receive mirrored traffic and would not pass normal network traffic. If you are using an intermediate switch, the configuration is very similar. The source remains remote VLAN 7, and the destination points towards the next switch using the reflector port keyword. The same R-SPAN VLAN must be created, marked correctly, and exclude it from all trunk links. Now you can test to make sure R-SPAN works. I'll send a ping from the laptop on switch 1 to the IP phone. On the laptop connected to switch 2, Wireshark successfully captured the ping traffic. Perfect! Everything is in place. With this setup, you can see what's happening on your network while everything continues to run like normal. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.